Hello all, welcome to part 3 of module 1 of the SecurityTube Python Scripting Expert course and certification. In this video, we will continue to look at more interesting data types such as tuples, sets, and dictionaries. Okay, so what is a tuple? So tuples are similar to lists with one key difference that they are immutable. Typically, you can convert between lists and tuples and vice versa using the tuple call as well as the list call. So let me show you an interesting example of how to work with these. Let's get into our Python interpreter, and what I'm going to do is create a tuple from a list, and this list is going to be a heterogeneous list containing details of one of the videos posted on SecurityTube. So let's call the tuple video data, and then I'm going to call tuple and pass it this list, which first contains the first element would actually be the name of the video. Let's say SPSE introduction. The second item is actually going to be the number of videos the minute runs, which is 25, the number of upvotes 100 hopefully, and the number of downvotes, let's say 3, just to be fair, though I'm hoping I don't get any downvotes. Okay, so here goes. Now if we look at this video data variable, you would notice that this has been converted into a tuple. The clear indication is the square bracket turning into this little curvy bracket, right? Now the way in which you can read data from a tuple is by going ahead and doing what is actually called sequence unpacking. The whole idea is that you want to unpack each of these items and put it into an appropriate variable for future use. So to give you an example, let's say video title is the first variable. Then you have running time, upvotes, downvotes, and then we go ahead and do a sequence unpacking from this tuple. Now if I want to go ahead and print video title, what you would notice is it's SPSE introduction. Running time is going to be 25, which is nothing but the second item. And similarly, you have upvotes and downvotes, right? So this is how we would go ahead and use a tuple to actually play around with different interesting attributes which would actually be part of the object. Now coming back, the next data type which I'd like to look into is sets. Now sets again are unordered collection with a very unique criteria, which is the objects have to be absolutely unique. This is similar to mathematical sets which you may have encountered. So basically, if we go back to the presentation, to create a set from a list, we basically use the set call, and to create a list back from the set, we use the list call, right? And these set operations can be union, intersection, difference, and a couple of others. So let's go here and let's create a set. Let's call it set A, and this is going to be created basically using a list which has the following items 1, 2, 3, and let's repeat the item 3 again, the item 2 again. Now as I had mentioned, set is unique unordered objects, which basically means all the duplicates are taken out and only the unique values are present. So as an example, the repetition of 3 and 2 was taken out and we only have 3 items. Similarly, let me define a set B, which probably has the items 3, 4, and 5 in it. And of course, as expected, this is what set B is going to have inside it. Now, if you talk about union of two sets, basically what we are looking at is all the elements present in the sets together. Of course, the output again has to be a collection of unique objects. And that is why even though we have an overlap of 3 between both these sets, in the union, we only have 3 represented once. So this is the union. Similarly, if you want to look at the intersection of two sets, as you can clearly see, the intersection item is 3. And this is exactly what we get. And finally, you can have a difference between two sets, which is elements present in set A but not in set B. And if we do a quick comparison, this is going to be 1 and 2. And similarly, if you go ahead and just reverse this, it's going to be 4 and 5, right? So sets can come in handy when you have a large collection of items and what you want to find is different unique values in it and then play along with it. Let's look at the next data type, which is probably one of the most important ones in Python, which is dictionaries. Now, dictionaries are actually unordered key value pairs. The most important thing to remember is that the key has to be unique and an immutable object like strings and numbers. The value, of course, of the key can change at any time. Now, there are different ways in which you can go ahead and create a dictionary. Dict is equal to, and then these two little curly brackets, basically means it's an empty dictionary. Or else you can go ahead and define a dictionary by using key value pairs, by assigning the value, or by probably declaring it in a couple of other interesting ways, right? So let me go ahead and show you how to create a simple dictionary. So let's say this is my bio, right? And we'll create a dictionary where my name is Vivek, my age is 31, and let's say my hobby is hacking, of course. There you go. And now if I look at this dictionary, this is how it looks like, right? Now, you could do a lot of interesting things, but typically what we want to test for is if a specific key is part of this dictionary, right? So as an example, if you want to go ahead and check for a specific key, let's say hobby, you can actually go ahead and use the has key method. And if you notice, it says true. But of course, if I did hobbies, the key does not exist, right? Now, there are other interesting ways to test as well. The in operator is one of them, which is key in dict. The way to play around this is, let's say, name in my bio. And if this key exists, we basically get a true. If this key does not exist, which is names, we get a false, right? This is how you can test for various keys in the given dictionary. The next thing, of course, which you'd probably want to do is probably get the whole items, the keys, the values and stuff like that, right? So to go ahead and get a list of all keys in the dictionary, we basically use mybio.keys as the method. To get all the values which correspond to these keys, just use .values. And if you want basically tuples of the key value pairs, you basically need to do items, right? And if you see, you actually get a list of tuples. Now, apart from this, there are other interesting things you can do as well. For example, you can fetch an item directly using the key by using the get option. So let's say if I want to just fetch the value of age, I say my bio dot get, and basically the key I want is age, and as expected I get an output of 31. Now if I want to add further key value pairs, the easiest way is just to go ahead and insert them inside like this. So let's say we have name, age and hobby, and let's say location, right? And I mention India. Oops. Right. And now if you inspect my bio, you would actually see location India automatically got added, right? Now, similar to this, if you want to go ahead and delete a specific item, you can actually use del my bio and then give it the specific key which you actually want to delete. And now if I look at my bio, you would notice location has been removed along with its value. Now if you want to delete the whole dictionary itself, you could very simply just do a my bio dot clear, and this is going to clear out the whole dictionary, right? Fantastic. Now before we move on further, a lot of times, of course, you want to learn about more attributes, methods similar to what we've used, like dot keys, dot clear, and all of that. So how do you get quick help in Python? Now the way to list all attributes of a given object, which could be like simple items which you want to access in it, or all its methods, is basically to use the dir call. And in this case, I'm going to pass in my bio, which is a dictionary, and if you notice, it gives me a list which consists of items inside it and specific method calls. So we've used hash-key. There are others such as update, and other interesting things like pop item and all of that. So this is a good way to explore what functionalities a given object basically allows you to do. It probably is not feasible to try out each and every method which is available in this list, but I would encourage you to try it out on your own. Now, similar to this, if you have a specific call and you want to know more about it, the easiest way is to use help and then specifically say my bio, and let's say we are interested in the hash-key method, right? We insert that. And if you notice, we have a simple help. It says hash-key, d.hash-key k, true if d has a key k, else false, right? So you have a very quick built-in help which is available, which you should ideally leverage whenever you get confused with any of these calls. So as an example, update updates the dictionary with certain values and a bunch of other things. I would recommend that you try some of these things out on your own. Right? So this is all for this video. Very important one. There aren't any specific exercises along with this video because it's just we are going through the different data types. But I would request you to try out all the examples if you're unfamiliar with programming in general or with Python programming based on whatever I have shown here. That's all. Thank you for this video, which is the part of the Security Tube Python scripting expert. Bye-bye.